You asked for it, you asked for it, and you asked for it, and damn it, we heard you. It is another fantastic edition of the Mizzle Dub Show. I am Dub, he is Mizzle, and of course, we decided to go with the superhero comic book look today, as the Black Goku is gracing us with his presence. No, he is not in Super Saiyan level yet. Just don't piss him off to get to that level. Otherwise, you will feel his wrath, and you will feel his pain, and you will feel his passion.
In the meantime, there will be passion displayed on this show today. It's coming. Buckle up, ladies and gentlemen.
And in my case, I'm charging the power ring, and don't piss me off, or you will feel Green Lantern's light.
Oh yes.
Well, today's show is a show that we've been looking forward to. We're basically just going to cover, most of it is going to be dedicated to free agency in the NFL. Yes. And then we will also talk about the tournament because somebody's team is in the Final Four. That just happens to wear Carolina blue. And oh, by the way, it happened to be playing.
Fuck Duke, fuck Duke, fuck Duke.
Did you mention?
Did you mention in this game? I want a straight, fair fight because, like I said, Duke got away with some calls in the tourney. That when they were on the brink of losing, when you thought like, yes, no Coach K. Oh, wait, he's over there Tom Brady with the referees. I see how this is going. And even my dad said, when he congratulated me, but he was like, tough road ahead. I'm like, yep, because not only do we have to play Duke, we got to play the referees as well. Because it seems like they're all riding the high of Coach K. And even before this happened, I told and text you and talked to you. I said, wouldn't it be fitting if it's UNC versus Duke?
And thus, they heard you. The college basketball gods heard you, and thus,
out of all the times they've been in the tournament, this is the first time that they meet each other on his way out.
Of course.
I ain't saying conspiracy, but you hear what I'm saying. We'll see tomorrow. We'll just see how it plays out tomorrow. There might be a double back show after this tournament is played and my feelings and emotion. It could be some more passion in that. Stay tuned.
Well, to start the passion off, we will talk about the craziest free agency period by far in NFL history.
Wow.
It was amazing. And a certain guy that I know said what he wanted, and Ziegler and his front office staff heard you. And boy, oh boy, Christmas came in March for your beloved Silver and Black. But it all started on March the 8th when a certain quarterback that we did not want to mention a name because we were so sick and tired of the story, but Aaron Rodgers did decide to come back to the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field and signing another 4-year deal.
Big payday.
Got a nice one.
For a hot second until we'll get to that here in a little bit.
Then on that same day, the Denver Broncos said, hold my beer, and thus a thorn in my side for the last 10 years goes to the AFC West. But damn it, I still have to see him at least one more time because we play the doggone AFC West in 2022. And as you can see, the reaction to my brother's face is the one I've had for the last 10 years, as Russell Wilson was indeed the 49ers daddy, going 15-4 in 19 career games against them. He goes to Denver, although unfortunately, it cost the Broncos a very talented player in their tight end, Noah Fant.
I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have done that, knowing that Russell Wilson likes to use his tight ends, most of the majority, but he uses his wide receivers very well, which the Broncos have talented wide receivers. But there was a certain receiver on that squad that did not score a single touchdown last year. I mean, that's going to change because Russell Wilson will get you the ball.
Yes, he will.
But I wouldn't have traded one of the top premier tight ends in the league that's up and coming. I mean, he's the fourth best tight end in the division, maybe the third. You know, it goes Kelsey, then Waller. I believe Waller is above Kelsey, not being a homer, just doing it my eyes. But but I get it. They had to make the deal sweet, and he was part of the sweet spot with the deal. So I don't know about giving up that. But Drew Lock has a familiar face in Seattle with him, so that kind of works out for him as well. If they're gonna stick with Drew Lock, because I can kind of see somebody possibly getting traded to Seattle. I think they just got to get the right figures right for that trade.
But it is also possible that Drew Lock could thrive in Seattle. You never know.
You never know. But you know how this league is going now, especially with this year. They're always looking for I think a lot of teams right now are in win now mode. And you can kind of see that with the way Denver is going with it. They went all out and got there who they thought they were a quarterback away from being in the playoffs, or, Teddy Bridgewater was doing very well with that team until he got hurt. I believe if Bridgewater was healthy, it could have came down to the 3 teams out of the AFC West trying to get into the playoffs, because they were right there in the thick of things, but that's been Teddy Bridgewater's MO. He always plays well. And then somewhere down the line in the season,
it goes bad somewhere. And that's the unfortunate thing. Then continuing with the trades in the National Football League, on that same day, you also had a former pass rusher that used to play in the AFC West return to the AFC West, as the Chargers decided to say, hey, let's just put Khalil Mack on the other side of Joey Bosa and just try to wreck stuff up. And thus, you see my brother's reaction. He's like, damn it, you son of a bitch. But the Raiders also said, you know what? Wait a minute. Hold my beer, because we have something for you too. And he goes by the number of double nickel, and he goes by the name of Mr. Chandler Jones, who, for me, I'm like, yes. And then I realized,
you played the Raiders this year.
We play the AFC West this year. I'm like, no, I don't want to see him again. But we have to see him again. But as I said, you put 55 on one side, 98 on the other. And there will be a lot of Al Davis fist pumping, because somebody's going to have one-on-one coverage, and somebody's quarterback is going to go down, and going to go down hard.
This division has top-notch pass rushers, man. I mean, like you just said a second ago, Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, Chandler Jones, Max Crosby. Don't know what Denver has in their defense, but I know they will show up, because Denver did have somewhat of a decent defense last year. But
Bradley Chubb got some help in signing DJ Jones, which hurt me tremendously.
Oh, well, then
needless to say.
Well, there it is.
But in addition to that, the Raiders did trade Yannick Ngakoue to the Colts, but the Raiders get a very good, talented quarterback in Rock Ya-Sin.
With a name Rock, you gotta be solid, right? You just can't come in with a name like Rock and then you just fold playing defense on corner. Because I'll be like, bro, your name is Rock. You gotta solidify this position, bro. You have to be solid. So, but I mean, he's like 26 years old, and his PFF
very young,
like 89.4. I mean, you put that with Nate Hobbs, who was, for a rookie, finished with a PFF rating of an 80 and above. I mean, come on now. And then, never mind. We're gonna dive into more today. I'm excited about this video today. But go continue.
Raider Nation, you should be excited, because the greatness of the Raiders really is in its future. No pun intended by the great Al Davis. Then, also on that same day, Carson Wentz returns to the AFC East. He is now
NFC East.
NFC East. Thank you. He returns to the NFC East. He is now a commie,
AKA Commanders, for those that don't understand the lingo, what we're saying.
Yes.
The team formerly known as the Redskins are now the Washington Commanders.
Which Daniel Snyder, being the idiot that he is, decides, let me pay homage to Mother Russia and be called the commies. 2 years. This is what you come up with? We've already beat that subject with we've already touched that subject too many times.
Multiple times.
Continuing on, Shelby Harris got traded to the Seahawks. Damn it. Shaq Mason gets to protect Tom Brady again. He is traded from the Patriots to the Buccaneers.
You know what? And friendship with the Buccaneers and the Patriots, I'm like, what is Tom Brady running this whole circus?
Well, considering that BA is now in the front office and Todd Bowles is the head coach.
You know what? we'll tap into that later because I got a lot to say of what just happened with that, but just let's continue.
And then Prophet Raymond Mason decides to shoot us a video in our group chat that we have with friends of the show, Mr. McDonald and Mr. Monroe. He says, "Don't be surprised if my Raiders trade for Davante Adams."
I said,
and then
go home.
Ziegler once again said, "NFL, hold my beer." And indeed, Derek Carr made true to his promise because he kept saying, "I'm going to recruit Davante to come to the dark side." And all it took was just a first and a second round pick to get him.
For the best receiver in the league. That is highway robbery, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, because normally for something like him, for someone like
2 number 1s, 2 2s, and maybe like a 3rd and a 4th future down the line. A 1 and a 2 for the best receiver in the league. I will damn sure tip my beer to that. Dave Ziegler, because what did I say? I'm like, man, it's a little quiet on the home front. I wanted Allen Robinson. I'm like, I had no thought of Davante Adams until I mentioned that to my brothers that day in that group chat, in that video chat. I said, something just hit me to send that. And I was like my brother said, don't be surprised if Davante Adams gets traded after Allen Robinson signed with the Rams. I was like, well, it must be go big or go home. And well, like he said, Dave Ziegler said, hold my beer. And what I just found out is this Davante Adams didn't even know. He didn't even know nothing about the trade. It just came out of how the trade came about was, as Dave Ziegler said in this little interview that I watched, you do your due diligence. You pick up the phone, you call a team, and you inquire. Hey, we got this and this for you. What do you think? The Packers said, let's do it. I'm happy. Hey, Derek Carr has no excuses this year. I'm going to tell you the reason why he has no excuses this year. Listen to this offensive line and the weapons he has now. Josh Jacobs, who I believe is a stud. I hope they pick up his 5th-year option. Yeah, he had John Gruden ran that young man to the ground. Always up the middle, up the gut. You never saw no toss sweeps. You never saw no counters to use his ability more. Yes, he has the most missed tackles in the league next to Derrick Henry, King Henry. But his tires for a young man is, it was dwindling. So you put Josh Jacobs. You still have Kenyon Drake. Hello. The man's a weapon. All right. Now, let's go to the weapons that I've been saying. He finally has a proven, dominant number 1 receiver. The Raiders ain't had a dominant number 1 receiver since Tim Brown and Jerry Rice. Hands down. Any Raider fan will agree with me on that. If don't, then whatever. You tell me who's been a number 1 since Tim Brown and Jerry Rice. Now, you mix in Davante Adams with that. We also got the slot god, a.k.a. Third and Renfro.
Ask Jalen Ramsey about Hunter Renfro.
Oh, he don't want to talk about Renfro. Renfro been cooking everybody since he got in the league. It doesn't matter who's guarding Renfro. Just watch the Charger game in week 17 and see what he did to every corner that tried to guard him. Worked him. Or even that. Watch the Indianapolis Colts game to where that man was unstoppable. But I'm just jumping off. Now, I said the slot guy. I said Davante Adams. Brian Edwards ain't no pushover either. But the main GOAT to this whole offense with Davante Adams is Darren Waller, who I think is the next thing to be the best tight end in the league. Once Gronkowski retired, Kelsey's getting old. Kittle is still a beast, but if Garoppolo is still throwing him the ball, I don't see Kittle surviving the full season. But there's no excuses for Carr this year. He has everything that he's been wanting and asking for. They went out and got his college best friend. Not teammate, they're best friends. As Derek Carr's brother said, Davante Adams is part of their family. What does Raiders preach? Family. I'm too excited. I can talk all day. Let's go with the show because I can talk about this.
I'll say this just to piggyback. If you thought the synergy between Rodgers and Davante Adams was immaculate,
just look up the Fresno State.
Go watch the Fresno State tape of those two.
I believe one game where Derek Carr threw for 500 yards. I believe Davante Adams had like 215 of those yards. I mean, their chemistry is so. It's Joe Montana and Jerry Rice all over. Or you can even say Steve Young and Jerry Rice. Or even Joe Montana and John Taylor. Dan Marino and who?
Clayton and Duper.
Okay. Now, I can't even go as far as to say this. Who was Peyton Manning's best target with the Colts?
Mr. Marvin Harrison. Which, oh, by the way, they have the most combined. Well, I only say Harrison because they are the highest combination of touchdowns between receiver and quarterback.
That's actually facts. That is facts. But I would say the more sweet passes that I've seen where Peyton Manning was locked in is when he was throwing to Dallas Clark. And if nobody don't believe me with that, just YouTube Dallas Clark and Peyton Manning.
I'll just say this. YouTube Colts versus Titans in Tennessee, and Dallas Clark says, "Look, Mom, one hand." And that was the offhand, not his right hand. It was the left hand. But I digress. So to continue the trades, then the Cleveland Browns pull a shocker. As they say, hold my beer
and pour me a shot, because that's what the Browns just did with what they just did.
So Baker Mayfield wanted to get traded. The Browns gave him a big fuck you and then said, oh, by the way, we're about to piss you off. Hey, Deshaun, we're going to get you out of purgatory in Houston. Come to Cleveland on the
terms of you a fully guaranteed contract. The only person to ever get a fully contract next to, I believe, Reggie White is Kirk Cousins and now Deshaun Watson.
So Deshaun Watson comes and joins the Cleveland Browns. Then the next after that, and I really hope the ATL learns to appreciate what Matt Ryan did for that city.
Oh, my goodness.
He was a class act, a model citizen, and certainly the best quarterback. And I know how much Atlanta loves Michael Vick. And yes, Michael Vick was exciting. He was, but Matt Ryan is the greatest quarterback in Falcons history. He is traded to the Colts. Matt Ryan will now be on the tutelage of Frank Wright. And boy, Matt Ryan has an offensive line, and he has an absolute thoroughbred at running back named Jonathan Taylor that he can give the ball to. Any quarterback that gets behind that O-line, the Colts legitimately now have a shot to do some things in that AFC South. Also, Robert Woods tore his ACL. He has to go to Tennessee. The Rams fulfilled his wishes. Mm-hmm. He's a Tennessee Titan. And then on the 24th of March, you and I were playing Schefter and Mort because a friend of the programs almost got the cheetah, but the cheetah said, I want to go to the MIA. So thus now the Dolphins have Jalen Waddle, Devontae Parker.
Oh, my gosh.
Mike Gesicki at tight end.
Oh.
And you have Tyreek Hill. So as I said that day when it happened, Tua Tagovailoa. You have no excuses now.
The question,
none whatsoever.
Question.
Yes.
Can Tua deliver the ball to him?
That is the ultimate question.
Slant routes all day. Can he deliver the ball down the field when it's time to make the bomb throw? Can he do it?
That's the question.
He has all the speed in the world, but can he deliver that ball down the field?
That's the ultimate question. But now that gives Miami a huge dynamic.
Yeah.
Not to mention a fan favorite, but it was better that he left. They also added Raheem Mostert. Dolphins had a pretty good offseason. Now we're not going to go through all the big free agent signings in the NFL. We're just trying to hit on the big ones.
The big names.
As mentioned, DJ Jones goes to the Broncos, which hurts me as an fan because DJ Jones was a tremendous 49er. Solid. James Conner made do, stays in the desert in Arizona. He had a fantastic year in his first year in the desert. That was pretty much. Hassan Reddick signs the Eagles. Temple kid goes back home. Good signing for Philadelphia.
Big signing.
Another one that hurts the core, but we praised our friend and friend of the show, Mr. Marquise McDonald. Lakeland Tomlinson gets paid by the Jets. Yeah. He'll now protect Zach Wilson. Mm-hmm. He was certainly a favorite of mine to watch on your team, but Zay Jones signs with the Jaguars.
Yeah, good for him, though. Good for him.
Yes. A huge signing for the Steelers. Miles Jack joins Devin Bush and Casey Hayward and TJ Watt. Yikes, AFC North, because the Steelers defense, they just got better.
Yeah.
Christian Kirk got a nice payday. He's out the AFC West.
He set the wide receiver market on fire.
Yes, he did, because he got a very nice pay job from the Jacksonville Jaguars. And you're just like, whoa, did not see that coming. Did not see that coming at all.
Not, but the Jaguars have been spending money, but it sometimes doesn't have been working out for them. So hopefully this time it does. Just like my Raiders this year.
Well, they have Doug Peterson at the helm, which definitely will help them. Another signing for the Jets. The Jets had a pretty good offseason. The Jets also signed DJ Reed to play free safety.
Yes.
Basically, my team did a whole bunch of re-signing their guys. So the Pittsburgh Steelers decide to go with Mitch Trubisky to take the reins and replace Big Ben.
That would have been Jimmy Garoppolo's job. I for sure thought that would have been a better suit.
Well, I kept saying that was the best fit for Garoppolo, but we'll get into that situation in a minute. Jordan Hicks signs with the Vikings. Good signing from Minnesota. Does that mean Anthony Barr is out the window? He's still available. Also, and you pointed this out, Levi Wallace signing with the Steelers to play in the secondary. Huge pickup for the black and gold.
Yeah.
Evan Ingram signing with the Jaguars, giving another target for Sunshine.
Yeah.
In Travis Lawrence. J.D. McKissick thought he was leaving, decides to come back to the Commies, which is a big help for Carson Wentz with his target. Also, Cam Sims decides to stay with the Commies, if you will. Max Williams and Zach Ertz decide to stay in the desert in Arizona. Also, kudos to the Jets. Getting away C.J. Uzomah from the Bengals. That's a huge signing and tight end for the Jets.
Yeah. Not only that, they also signed Solomon Thomas, which is also a huge pickup.
Yes.
Both of the defense with Quentin Williams. That's going to be profitable.
Very, very profitable. Ryan Jensen decides to re-sign with the Buccaneers. And I know this hurts you because you were a very big fan of his, but Alex Ingold decides to take his talents to South Beach and join the Dolphins.
He was a fan favorite of the Raider Nation. He was a big fan favorite of the Raider Nation. Just a grinder.
But he will forever hold the title of the first man to score the very first touchdown inside the Death Star.
Yep.
And they cannot take that away from him.
Not at all.
Also, J.C. Jackson, huge signing. He signs with the Chargers. It came down to the Raiders of the Chargers, but the Chargers offered more money, and thus they steal him away. Xavier Woods signs with the Panthers. Nicholas Burrow signs with the Bears. Chase Edmonds, thank God he's at the NFC West because he torched my Niners. He goes to South Beach. Josh Allen has another target. O.J. Howard signed with the Bills over there in Orchard Park. And then Randy Gregory said, screw you, Dallas. I'm going to go take my talents to Denver, which was very, very scary. DJ Chark signs with the Lions, giving the Lions another target for Jared Goff.
Vander Esch. I think his deal was a one-year deal, wasn't it?
I believe so.
All he's doing is setting up to get more money next season.
Yes. Vander Esch resigns with the Cowboys. Huge sign for them. Yeah. And then my team finally add some help to the secondary and also taken away from your division rival. Travius Ward signs with the 49ers to play safety. Brandon Faison signs with the Colts.
Yeah, that was I know why that move happened, but that was a hurtful loss. But he followed his coordinator. He followed Gus Bradley, which is totally understandable.
Indeed. Von Miller decides to take his talents to Bills Mafia. Don't know if he'll be Don't know if he will be in the cold going through the tables like the Dudley boys, but certainly will help the Bills defense possibly get over the top. Cedric Wilson leaves the Cowboys for the beaches of South Beach. He signs with the Dolphins. The Dolphins made some moves. Malik Hooker signs with the Cowboys. Markel Lee signs with the Bills. Teddy Bridgewater takes his talents to South Beach and plays with the Dolphins. James White signed with the Patriots. Yeah. As mentioned, Raheem Mostert signed with the Dolphins.
Yep.
As we continue to go through the signings, Devonta Foreman signs with the Panthers. Brandon Allen signs with the Bengals. And the Raiders adding some more moves. They signed Matt Collins. They signed Bilal Nichols from the Bears. They also added Jacob Johnson, fullback for the Patriots, Darius Phillips, and Alex Barr. And, of course, already previously mentioned Chandler Jones. Marcus Mariota signs with the Falcons to replace Matt Ryan. That's a huge void. That's a huge void to fill. Kentavious Street leaves the Niners, signs with the Saints, and Jameis comes back to New Orleans. And the Saints also recently just added Andy Dalton. And speaking of the Saints, a farewell to a very, very solid career, as just recently Malcolm Jenkins announced his retirement from the NFL. Super Bowl winner with the Saints, Super Bowl winner with the Philadelphia Eagles, but does tremendous, tremendous work in the community. And you would expect nothing less as he will continue to do so. Shaq Lawson decides to stay in Buffalo. Eli Apple decides to stay in Cincinnati. Artie Burns signs with the Seahawks. And also Quandre Diggs also decides to stay in Seattle. As we continue with these signings, also the Raiders added Brandon Bolden from the Patriots. They also added Amir Abdullah, who you wanted out of Nebraska for a very, 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 very long time.
Yeah.
Which certainly means perhaps the writing is on the wall for one Jalen Pocket Rocket Richard. Also, they added another quarterback in Anthony Everett. Ty Montgomery takes his talents to Foxborough.
Yep. They'll use him well.
Yeah. Yes, they will. Tom Brady gets another target as Russell Gage signs with the Buccaneers. James Washington leaves the Steelers to go sign with the Cowboys. A.J. Moore decides to sign with the Titans. Austin Hooper, the tight end, leaves the Browns, goes to Tennessee. Brandon Parker resigns to come back in Las Vegas. J.R. Reed decides to sign with the Broncos. And Juju Smith-Schuster will take his TikTok talents to Kansas City. Hopefully, he learned once again how to catch the football. That remains to be seen. Dante Fowler signs with the Cowboys. Lavelle Collins leaves and signs with the Bengals, a huge signing for Cincinnati.
The Cincinnati Bengals bolstered their offensive line. They
did.
Figured out, you know what, our quarterback took enough punishment. Let's protect him. That's what you do. That's a good organization right there. They figured out their weakness, and they were like, you know what, we need to fix it.
Robert Tanya decides to stay in Green Bay. Russell Douglas signs with the Packers. Alex Singleton signs with the Broncos. The Cheetah, Matt Breida, finds a new home. He's with the Giants. Quentin Jefferson, who was very solid with the Raiders, gets a nice contract to go to Seattle. Damn it. Have to see him twice a year. Dadgummit. Laquan Treadwell signs with the Jaguars, and Nick Folk decides to sign back with the Patriots to be their kicker. And rounding out the list of any more important signings, if you will, as we look and go through. Just to top off what the Raiders did, they also added Kyler Fackrell, linebacker, and Micah Kaiser, another linebacker. And a nice signing by my team, Raymond McLeod signs with the Niners.
Yeah.
And Cordero Patterson decides to stay with Atlanta after having a career year with the Falcons. Hopefully, now that they have Mariota, they will still utilize that man. And again, rounding out more signings of the important variety. Oh, also, we forgot to mention this wide receiver that you guys also signed. One Demarcus Robinson from the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. Man.
Maybe sometimes the forgotten man in that in that frame. And then we thought he was going back to Baltimore, but Zadarius Smith decides to pull a mulligan and decides to stay in the NFC North, but now he'll be sculling in Minnesota. Huge signing for the Vikings, which means it's possible that the writing might be on the wall for Anthony Barr, which I would take right now on my team.
Excellent.
I'm just saying.
Excellent.
I'll take Anthony Barr right now.
Yeah.
Anyhow, Jordan Wallace resigns with the Niners, which of course makes me happy. Also, I didn't want to leave the season before. I'm glad he's back. Kerry Hyder resigns to come back to the 49ers, which also makes me happy. Trent Brown is staying in New England. Also, I think another signing that I think is under the radar, but which will help, as if you needed more tight ends. I like the Jacob Hollister signing for you guys. I really do.
Yeah. Well, we already know that. I think it's just going to be a fight for that third spot because you already know Foster Moreau and Waller is going to hold it down. So it's good competition in that room.
Malcolm Butler decides to return to the Patriots.
Oh.
Of course, he made the perhaps greatest interception in Patriots history.
I wouldn't say that was the greatest. I think that was the dumbest move by the Seahawks, but that's just me.
That too. But that's why I said in Patriots history, not Super Bowl history, but yeah, it's still the dumbest play ever made in Super Bowl history, but that goes without saying. Zach Pascal, former Colts receiver, signs with the Eagles to give another target for Jalen Hurts.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Rashard, a very good fullback for the Ravens, decides to stay in Baltimore, which kudos to John Harbaugh, gets another extension with the Ravens. All he does is just win, win, win in Baltimore. Leonard Fournette decides to stay with the Patriots as he decides not to test the waters of free agency. K'Wan Williams goes to the Broncos, and that means we have to see him again one more time this season. Dadgummit. Rashard Perryman joins the Patriots. I mean, not the Patriots, the Buccaneers, as if Brady needs another freaking target. Daniel Sorensen signs with the Saints. Richie James signs with the Giants. Andy Janovich, former Browns fullback, signs with the Texans. Jacoby Brissett will now back up whoever the starting quarterback is, but you know it's going to be Deshaun Watson if he's not messed with by the NFL. Jared Davis signs with the Lions. Jaylen Brown signs with your beloved Raiders. And Jaron Kearse signs with the Cowboys. And I think, no, there's still more. Caleb Witherspoon signs with the Steelers. Of course, we just mentioned Mariota signing with the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah.
Teron Armstead leaves the Saints and goes to South Beach. The Dolphins had a very good, solid offseason, adding, and just adding.
Yeah.
Deion Bush signs with the Chiefs. And I believe that is all as far as known names amongst the NFL. So, with that said, I believe that covers all your free agent signings of important notice. Oh, Fletcher Cox resigns with the Eagles. Carl Joseph signs with the Steelers. And now that covers everything. Oh, Arden Key signs with the Jaguars after having a very solid season with the Niners. Would have loved to have him back.
Guys revitalized his career.
Yes, he did. So now we can just go back and focus on what your team did this offseason, which I know makes you very, 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 very pleased. So the floor is yours.
Yeah, please. But this ain't the first time that the Raiders have done something like this that got me interested in the season, and it just went to shit. But I feel this regime is a little bit different. They're making methodical moves and stuff like that. I mean, I can't complain. You got solid pieces. You got a little younger. And they got rid of some core players that I thought that still could have been there. Like I did not want to see Alan Eagle go, man. That was tough. That was real tough. But I'm excited, but I ain't gonna get too excited. But like I said, I'm gonna give them a year because it's something new. I'm not expecting so much, but I expect them to be competitive. But after this season, it needs to get going. Because, yeah, I still need them to get a right tackle, a solid one. Maybe they'll do that in the draft. I don't know. But as of right now, they look like a competitive team. They still have us finishing fourth in the division, of course, whatever. But I like us being underdogs. We're always underdogs. But yeah, I'm pretty excited to see what's going to go on with this. I don't know. Just going to sit back and observe, not give too much into the first season. But like I said, second season, they better show me something.
As the transactions were happening, and you're seeing all these trades and all this movement, it just seemed like the Chiefs just stand pat and absolutely did nothing to improve while all the other teams in their division
they still got
added. And this is true. But do you have the offensive line to protect them? And now, who's going to be that void? Because now it's almost a given. You're probably going to double team Kelsey because there's no Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Now there's no Demarcus Robinson. Yeah. Are you really going to put all your baskets in Juju, which Juju really hasn't been the same since 2019 because he's been more focused on TikToking than catching the damn ball.
Facts.
However, with that said, if you are Raider Nation, you should get excited because, as I've been saying, there's structure, there's organization. But as we always say, get players that want to come to your organization, that want to play for your team.
Yeah.
In my team's case, it was really much of really not trying to add, but more so just trying to keep within because there was a lot of free agents that, were on the cusp and, some you had to let go and some you couldn't keep. For the most part, I like who they kept. I like the fact that they kept Kevin Gibbons and they kept Jermichael Hasty. They kept Demetrius Fowles. They kept Aziz Al-Shari, who played tremendously down the stretch in the year. Like I said, they added Ward. They added Burks. They added Hassan Ridgeway. They added Ray McLeod. They added Greg Odom. They re-signed Jordan Willis. They brought back Kerry Hyder. They signed Aquez Denard. They re-signed Ross Dwelly. They re-signed Jefferson Jr. But again, the huge void is left guard. Yep. Lakeland Tomlinson is gone. Yeah. So now Aaron Banks, he was drafted in the second round for a reason. I need to see you on the field. I hope McGlinchey comes back and plays pissed off because he kind of struggled the last 2 years. He struggled in 2020 playing right tackle. I'm okay with Brunskill being the right guard. You still might need to draft a center just in case Alex Mack does not come back.
Yeah.
So it's.
Well, didn't Alex Mack said he was coming back? If I did hear that right.
The signs are pointing towards him returning. So, I mean, that will definitely help if he is. So, time will tell on that.
And you got rid of the D Ford contract finally.
What a waste of money that was. You could have used that money to pay DeForest Buckner. But you want to pay Eric Armstead instead. Yeah. But you could have paid you could have paid DeForest Buckner.
Yeah. Sure could have.
Instead, now you're still trying to find somebody to be on the other side of Nick Bosa, which Ebicom can do it if you give him the chance to play. Yeah. Now, here comes the passion part of the program because we said we're going to talk about it, and we're about to leave some passion because the No Fun League decides to tamper with the overtime rule in the playoffs.
Bunch of crybabies, man. Bunch of crybabies. That's all I'm gonna leave it at that.
Mainly the Bills.
You had 13 seconds. 13 seconds in the game.
But no, you don't even want to squib kick the damn ball. You just want to kick the ball out of bounds and give them the ball at the 25-yard line.
So you have no faith in your defense. What does that say about your defense if you're bitching and complaining about not getting the ball in overtime? You shouldn't have made it to overtime.
You were the number one ranked defense in football.
13 seconds.
That too.
Prevent defense prevents you from winning a game. Clearly.
Yes, it does.
So I I get what the NFL is also doing with this. They're trying to give more time and more football, more watching and more excitement or whatever, but there was nothing wrong with the overtime rules. It's been solidified for years. If you don't want to get the overtime, win the game. Make a stop. Do what you need to do to win the game. So now that each team gets a possession, and if nobody scores, then we go into sudden death. Come on now. This just tell us that you're trying to give us more football. I'm okay with that. Don't give me this BS that we're going to change for this, that, the third. So everybody's happy. Well, yeah, everybody's happy. You make the stop, you get the ball, you score, you win. Simple. But no. Like I said, just do it like college. Just do it like, if you want to do it like college.
But you don't get the ball to 25, you still got to move down the goddamn field.
I agree with that. But
you're in the NFL. You're in the NFL. Put your big boy pants on.
You get paid. Your defense get paid big bucks to stop an offense. Your offense gets paid to go score. This is why we watch the game and play the game. I quite frankly don't like it, but I understand it. But it's whatever. It's like baseball with putting the runner on second base now. Whatever.
Thank God that is the last year.
It's amazing now in retrospect looking back.
Because I can't stand that rule. Now, there was 2 more signings we forgot to mention. One, Patrick Peterson is staying in Minnesota.
Smart.
And the news we got yesterday, which made me give the cussing out expletive meme or emoji. Unfortunately for me, Bobby Wagner is staying in the goddamn NFC West.
Where is the Rams getting this money, man? There's a cap reason for a reason. And they just said, F it. We're just going to just pay whoever we want to pay. And we'll just deal with the consequences.
But here's the thing. Stan Kroenke, and I give him credit, don't give 2 shits. And I really do mean 2 shits. He does not give 2 shits about the damn luxury tax, whatever it is. He'll be like, I'll pay it. I don't care.
Yeah.
That's just how I feel. I don't care. I will pay it. But yeah, Bobby Wagner. And also they're trying to give freaking Aaron Donald a new contract. I'm like,
it will be done here pretty soon.
I'm like, what is this? You just re-signed Matt Stafford.
Right.
I just don't I just don't get it. But what do I know? I'm just a fan that just loves to talk about sports.
Yeah.
But that's just how it is. But now, transitioning over, and we're going to now talk about some basketball as we cue the fight song right now for his beloved Tar Heels. As the Tar Heels will be playing in the Final Four in their 9th straight decade. No other program can say that they've done that.
This is true. This is true.
As his beloved Tar Heels, and they would not want it any other way.
Why not, right? Why not?
Their road to the national championship game on Monday starts Saturday in prime time against their longtime nemesis that they can't stand and hate. It all comes down to Tobacco Road in New Orleans, Louisiana, against the damn Dukies. But let me just say this. Now, people say it's ironic that it comes down to Carolina and Duke to play in the national title game, but I will say this, and just hear me on this. We are in the year 2022.
We are.
And it is the 40th anniversary of the Tar Heels' first national championship under the legendary Dean Smith, where a freshman by the name of Michael Jeffrey Jordan hits the game-winning shot to beat the Georgetown Hoyas.
Yeah.
And Sleepy Floyd passed the ball to the wrong man, and thus John Thompson consoled him. But how's this for synergy and how appropriate? the Tar Heels won their first national championship inside the Louisiana Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana. The Final Four is in New Orleans, Louisiana, in now called the Mercedes-Benz, but I will forever call it the Louisiana Superdome.
Of course.
But you want to talk about history and luck and history being on your side. Yeah. And I know you said what you said about, damn it, college basketball gods, don't mess this up. Let it be a fair fight. Let it be a fair game. But also on the same side, it's also appropriate that Carolina is coming back to where it all started for them when they won their first championship under the legendary Dean Smith as they play the Dukies. Now, here's what we know. They play each other twice a year. So there is no such thing as a scouting report. You know them. They know you. Yep. It's all going to come down to who executes the best. And here's one thing that we've noticed so far in this tournament. If Manic, Love, and Black are hitting the J, your chances of winning are slim to none.
And if our big center doesn't get in foul trouble.
Yes. If big old number 5 is having a double like he had against St. Peter's. And speaking of St. Peter's, speaking of Peacocks, kudos to them. Yeah. And a round of applause on a tremendous run that they went through to get to the Elite Eight. Unfortunately, they just ran into a better team in the Tar Heels. But for their head coach, his run in the tournament gave him the head coaching job back at his alma mater at Seton Hall. Good for him.
Yeah.
A tremendous run. But I really don't want to say the order of the keys to victory, but how do you one more time, as you did in Cameron, as you close the doors in Cameron by telling Duke to hold my beer and take the L like a man, how do you do it one more time to not give Coach K the send-off that most fans probably would want? How do you go about doing that?
Defense, scoring, rebounds. That's
simple.
You just got to score because you know Duke is going to make their runs. Duke has been down almost in every game in the tournament, but when the second half comes around, they just find a way to just continue to score. Don't give them second-hand chances. Get the rebound and push the ball. You know, when North Carolina is doing well, we're running the floor, we're spreading it, and also, you know, we're shooting the ball well. But they have to do what has been the staple for this team when we win championships is rebound. That's it. You just got to rebound, and our bigs have to just hold because I believe Duke is going to get some foul calls, man. It's just I just feel it. But if we can avoid the stupid fouls, you know, just play solid defense, rebound the ball, run the floor, I think we can do what we did in Cameron. Just and ride the wave of the Tar Heels. You know, this is going to be, don't let the game get too big. You already played Duke twice already. So it's just another game. And it's not, at least it's not in either of their homes.
It's a neutral site.
No, it's a neutral, it's a different site. So just go out there and play.
Well, I'll say this, you know, both alumni are going to be in there tough.
Well represented.
Inside the dome. But again.
Well, hell, some artist canceled his show to go to the New Orleans. He had I think a country singer or a gospel, whatever, but he canceled his show to get to the game. So that's how big this is.
Yeah, this is, like I said, it's Tobacco Road to get to Monday night.
This is an ACC championship game all over.
Yeah, pretty much. As the ACC represented very well in this tournament, 3 colleges, 3 schools got to the Elite Eight. But I agree with you. I think Baycott will be the key for North Carolina. If he is controlling the glass and being the rim protector as he was against St. Peter's, it could be a long day for Duke. But like I said, for both of these schools, would you not want it any other way? The first time these two longtime rivals have met in the big dance. And it's to get to the biggest dance, the national championship game. But on the other side, there is another matchup that is absolutely tremendous.
Kansas,
and of course, we talk about the Kansas Jayhawks and the Villanova Wildcats. And like I keep saying, this is what Villanova does. All Villanova does is make deep runs in the tournament. And for Bill Self, who some were cutting down him because it seemed like when he got to the Sweet 16, that's when the curse of Kansas would just come out because Bill Self just could not get past the Sweet 16. Yeah. But here they are, back in the Final Four for the first time in a long time. But you have two very good coaches in Jay Wright and Bill Self. I mean, it's just tremendous. I mean, you got, Gillespie controlling the point for North Carolina. You got Adams, Braun, Abaji for, the Jayhawks. Yeah. It's just going to come down to, in this particular game, execution, who controls the glass, and again, whose emotions won't get the best of them because, as we know,
never count on Villanova. No. My team knows that.
Well, it was 4 years ago to where my brother was heartbroken on the phone with me when Villanova said, Tar Heels, hold my beer from half court. Like I said, the man had his card ready to buy the shirt. He had it ready, folks. And then Villanova hit the game-winning shot, which made Grant Hill raise his
center, bro. It wasn't even like a guard or a forward. They center jacked up the three.
And hit nothing but the bottom of the net. Because, as we discuss, shooting a ball in a football stadium is very, very hard. Yeah. I'm just, first off, the court's on a high riser. Yeah. Which doesn't help a person that is a jump shooter because a jump shooter, you want to be on level ground in a regular gym. Anybody that plays basketball, anybody that's a shooter will tell you that. Playing on a high rising court, a lot of times does not favor the shooter. And sometimes you have bouncy rims that don't help. Yep. Lord knows when we were playing basketball on the blacktop, what did we hate? We hated the double rim. Couldn't stand it. Which is why we wanted to play on the single rim blacktops because you get a more favorable bounce with the single rim because double rims, you can have the perfect release, perfect shot, leaves the hand great, and as my brother just did the motion, it does that. And you just want to cuss out the double rim. So, if you happen to get by the Dukies, I know the Tar Heel in you wants revenge against Villanova for 2018. Would you prefer to play Villanova or would you prefer to play Kansas?
Well, either way this goes, there's some kind of history that's going to be made with either team. If it's
correct,
that's Roy Williams' old team before he came home.
Correct.
You get Villanova, it's a revenge game. I'm not trying to do the chickens yet right now. I'm just focusing on Duke. I ain't trying to look too far ahead. I'll have my feeling on that after tomorrow's game. I believe the Tar Heels is the first game because I think it's going to start at 3:30.
No, the Tar Heels are prime time.
Oh, so we will find out who. Okay.
Yes.
So I'll be at work for both games, but
so just to cover as will I. Well, I might be able to catch a little bit of Carolina Duke because I don't go in until 8. But here is the lineup for Saturday for those that I want to watch. First off, the games will be on TBS. Villanova and Kansas will tip off at 6:09 Eastern, 3:09 Pacific time on TBS, and then Carolina and Duke will tip off 8:49 Eastern, 5:49 Pacific Daylight Time. Again, both games you can catch on TBS, and we will see who will make it to Monday night and who will have their one shining moment. Of course, most of America, I'm assuming, I don't know, perhaps are maybe hoping that Coach K gets the final ride. We know this Carolina Tar Heel is like, no, a big FU, damn it, go Tar Heels. I think now, you being the Carolina Tar Heel that you are, is this the lowest seed the Tar Heels have been getting to a Final Four in their history? Do you know?
I want to say yes.
Because they are an 8th seed.
Yep.
So what's left is an 8th seed, Carolina, two seeds in Duke and Villanova, and a 1 seed in Kansas, which is rare because it was a lot of upset specials with the number 1 seeds.
Oh my goodness, was there? This tournament, wow. Matter of fact, I think brackets were broken the first day.
Yeah, they were. Well, once St. Peter's won their first game, that's when the sports books started to lose some of their money, if you will.
Yeah.
But needless to say, I think both games will be very, very exciting.
Oh yeah.
This is one of the best Final Four lineups we've had in a very, 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 very long time. So I'm just a fan. I have no dog in the race, with the exception, of course, me just disliking the Duke Blue Devils with a tremendous, tremendous, tremendous passion. And I'll just leave it at that. Well, for me, a week from today, actually, I'll be doing the happy dance because, once again, it is time for the team that won a franchise record 107 games to defend their division title as the San Francisco Gigantes. One of the rare times they actually have opening day inside the big phone booth at 3rd and King, as they will welcome in the Miami Marlins for a weekend series set before they head on their first road trip of the year. Obviously, it will not be easy trying to replace Gerald Dempsey Posey III, which is why they brought back Kirk Casale. Reports in camp, as you would say, my man crush, you would say, asshole, has gotten a lot of high praise and seems like he is ready to take the mantle and lead. But as I said yesterday, as we were discussing, it is definitely the Brandons team. They will definitely follow the lead of the Brandons in Belt and Crawford.
Yeah.
I definitely think this year's pitching is a lot stronger than last year's. I think their rotation is a lot better than last year's. Adding Carlos Rodon from White Sox was absolutely huge. I think that was a steal. You bring back Alex Wood, you bring back DeSclafani. And of course, Logan Webb is becoming the ace as Bumgarner and Lincecum and Kane were for so many years.
Yes.
He just has the pedigree, and his first start against the Cubs, he really, 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 really looked locked in. Yeah. I guess the question would be is how do you get better when you win 107 games from a year ago?
Don't change it. Now, you know what I'm saying? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Just keep it simple. Do what you've been doing. Look at the Spurs. The Spurs were not even in the play-in tournament talks, and look at them now. They just continue to do what they've been doing for years.
Well, this is why they're one of the best ran organizations in North America professional sports, because this is just what they do. But also, for those that are still trying to get their football fix, you are 15 days away from spring football. The relaunching of the United States Football League, known to some as the USFL, will kick it off on the 16th of April, which you can watch on Fox, NBC, USA, and Fox Sports 1. So, only one game on the 16th. That would be the Birmingham Stallions and the New Jersey Generals. Then Sunday, you got a triple header. You got Houston against Michigan, the Gamblers versus the Panthers. You have the Stars against the New Orleans Breakers, and the nightcap, the Tampa Bay Bandits against the Pittsburgh Maulers. So you have a full plethora of games on this opening weekend of the USFL. So again, as I said, for those that are craving and missing football, here's an appetizer to feed you until the NFL returns later on down the year. This is just an appetizer. Now, think about this. If all things go well, next year in 2023, you'll have 3 football leagues.
Yep.
You have USFL, and you have the Rocks edition of the XFL, which seems to me they're going about doing it the right way.
Yeah.
So, with that said, the 16th, the game is at 4:30 on Fox. Then, basically all day USFL football. You got the first game at 9 a.m. on NBC between Houston and Michigan. Then the 1 o'clock game, 1 p.m. between Philadelphia and New Orleans. And then the nightcap, Tampa Bay against Pittsburgh.
Okay.
So, and then you'll have some Friday game. You have a Friday game, 2 Saturday games, and a Sunday game. So for those that need that football fix, hopefully the USFL will give you that football fix.
Indeed.
So anything you would like to add, good sir?
No, man, I think we pretty much covered everything. I don't have no one good thing. Just the free agency just did everything for me. That's just my big one thing is this. Just let's get some football. Let's get this draft going. Let's get some training camps going. You know, OTAs and everything. The Hall of Fame game with my Raiders in it. You know, I'm just excited with what conspired out the NFL this year. You know, a lot of changes and a lot of things that are shocking. You know, they're shaking it up this year. And I'm looking forward to that. And the USFL to see what they can bring. That's pretty much about what I got.
Well, you have 27 more days for the draft, which of course is in my current city of residence in Las Vegas, Nevada. And damn it, I don't want to be nowhere near that area while it's going on.
Information, well, not the information, but I hear everything at the draft is free. You can go to the draft for free. The events that they're having there, they're setting up for the weekend is free.
Really?
Yeah, everything is free. You just have to register on NFL.com.
Another reason why I don't want to go. If it's free, that's just going to be too much mass amount of humanity. No thanks. I'd rather be in the friendly confines of my couch. Well, actually, God willing, we will plan to try to do it didn't work so good the last time we tried to do this, but we are going to try it again. We're going to try to have a live draft show of the first round, maybe the first and second round of the draft.
Well, my team doesn't pick in either of those rounds, but it's okay. But Devontae Adams is the first and second round pick, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah, Devontae Adams was your draft pick. Yeah, yes, that's indeed. Right. Because definitely my team does not have a draft pick. My draft pick went to the damn Dolphins. So they're picking 28th, 29th, somewhere in the 20s. But again, April 28th is the first night of the draft. I'm definitely looking forward to it. And to just piggyback on another rule I don't like, switching back to baseball, I really, for the life of me, I cannot stand the ghost runner rule. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. First off, because it feels like you didn't earn that runner to be at second base to begin with.
Exactly.
And then teams have forgotten the art and execution that is a bunt.
Yeah.
Which is, old school National League Baseball. For those that have, watched old school National League Baseball. I knew the universal DH was coming. I'm really not a big fan of it, but I know that's what had to happen in order to get the new CBA deal done. Yeah. But I am so glad this is the last year of that freaking rule because I just can't stand it.
It's crappy.
Fuck the rule. I can't stand the rule. Fuck the rule. It's like I mean, granted, you can score a run without getting a hit if you execute it the right way.
Right.
But I'm excited. Draft is coming. USFL coming. Opening day is starting next Thursday and Friday. Apple Plus signs the deal to air Friday Night Baseball, and Apple might be getting in the NFL business and perhaps getting Sunday Ticket after that contract expires in 2023. So movement all over the place, movement all over in the sports world. And this is just exciting times to be a sports fan. You got the tournament, you got baseball starting, and of course, you have the wonderful scenery that is Augusta, Georgia, and the Masters.
Oh, yes.
As the quest for the green jacket, that'll start next week. So springtime, the beginning of spring, the beginning of fall, always the best time in the world for sports.
Yep, I agree.
And that's all I got.
Well, that's all, folks. Hope you guys enjoyed this edition.
A very long edition of the Mizzle and Dub Show.
Long overdue.
But certainly you guys asked for it. You guys wanted another show and kept asking when we're going to do one. So here we are. So we will try not to prolong and make the next show after this one longer. We will try to be due diligent in doing these shows as possible.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
I will say this: when it's football season, we will be very due diligent during the football season and doing a lot more shows.
Yes.
One thing's for sure, we definitely will be doing a show when our beloved teams. It only happens once every 4 years. But
that show might be live because I plan on being out in Vegas for that game.
Yeah, we have discussed going to the game live and partaking in the silver and black versus the red and gold. Because like I said, it only happens once every 4 years. So this is the one time that he would really, really, well, I mean, he does it all year long, but this is the one time he would really be like, hey, fuck your team.
Facts.
And he will say that very, very passionately. But this has been another edition of the Mizzle and Dub Show. He is Mizzle. I am Dub. We thank you for watching. We thank you for subscribing. Of course, any topic you want us to cover, feel free to let us know in the comments. The comments section is working.
Yes, comments are working now. It's all set up. We're good. So
feel free to click that subscribe button and subscribe to the show. And we thank you for watching. And as always, it is 5 o'clock some damn where. Or as some would say, it's beer o'clock. Cheers.
Great show, sir. Great show.
Indeed.